Becoming light, fluid, and finding flow in life is all about alignment. You may spend time searching for that one stretch to relieve the tension from your body, when in reality, there could be something that needs to be aligned internally to find balance, to find purpose, and to overall just feel good. I got the chance to dive into this topic with one of my teachers, Mike Bledsoe. If you dig the convo, be sure to drop us a comment and let us know.
A lot of people have likely had an experience where they had an internal shift and then the outside world shifted. It's like, oh wow, everything changed.
Right.
And what really changed was your view of the outer world based on understanding something more about yourself. And so when we look at the law of correspondence and we look at the physical body, which is the outer world, and you know when you hit alignment and movement, because something that used to be difficult now becomes easy. Right. Something that looks choppy becomes graceful. You become more attractive when you have better posture. When you move well in the gym or you watch Josh on videos, it's like, wow, this looks beautiful and easy. And then you try to copy it and it's like, oh shit, that's actually very difficult. Right. So the same thing happens in life. We look at some people and we go, wow, they're just flowing through life. They have a lot of grace. People probably look at your lifestyle and go, man, he's killing it, living the life you want to live. And so that's one of the major concepts that I like to work with, is getting people in alignment with their life. And there's three things we need to look at when we look at alignment, and that is your heart, which is what you care about, the thing that you're driven towards. You have your mind, which is what you think about, and your mind is made up of words and phrases primarily. Well, when you have those words and phrases that come up, it creates pictures in the mind, and then you have actions. Your right. Actions align. So we have to make sure that our heart is aligned with our mind, which is aligned with our actions. And it's a rare trait to find somebody who's aligned in their life.
Right.
Yeah. So we can see examples of this. If someone's out of alignment between their heart, what they care about, and what they think about, this is extremely prevalent in our society. It has been for decades, but it's probably the worst situation right now, which is we may care about something, but our mind is being polluted with media. We're being polluted with the news. We're being polluted with headlines that are being put on Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff. Right. And so the mind gets cluttered. And something to know about the mind is the job of the mind is to keep you safe. So it's always on the lookout for threat. And so one of the things we have to do if we want to be successful and we want to be in a place of creation where we're creating our life is we have to learn how to shape our mind to be in alignment with our heart.
Right.
And that is shutting out some of the outside noise and actually listening to your heart. And most people have never done that, so it's a foreign exercise. And it's a skill that can be developed just like you would develop the skill of a handstand. And so that requires clearing the mind, giving yourself space, listening to the heart, knowing what you really care about.
Right.
And then aligning your actions with your heart and your mind. A lot of people, you'll spot someone who has a heart and mind alignment if they do cut out the rest of the world and they daydream a lot. And you can see this in this happens a lot in what we'll just call it like hippie culture. You know, it's somebody who's like, oh, I know my heart, I meditate, I've got my mind figured out, but in their life, they take no action. Yeah. And so they haven't taken that internal work and then externalized it into the world, which means they haven't done the work yet. Right. And so what's amazing about action is the thing that is required for action to take place is courage. And so we also have a society where we have taught people to not be wrong. You get punished if you're wrong. If you get bad grades, you get punished. So there's this ingrained thing that the mind is like, oh, if I do it wrong, I'm going to be punished. Right. And so now what we have is we have a lot of people who live in fear, and they don't. I mean, we've probably all heard about, are you behaving out of love or fear? And so when you're behaving out of fear, it causes problems.
Right.
And the thing is whether it's your heart, your mind, or your actions that are out of alignment, you'll know you're out of alignment because you'll be suffering. And you'll wish things were different.
Right.
When you come into alignment, in perfect alignment, you don't want anything to be different. And everything that's ever occurred is perfect. And you are moving towards you have a sense of purpose, and you're moving towards it.
Yeah. No, you're in alignment with what reality is right now, right?
Yeah.
And when you see that disconnect, there's always conflicts with what's going on like around you.
Yeah.
Even though really there's no conflict that's objective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We create most of the conflict in our lives.
Right. So yeah, this is such a fascinating like topic, because you see people as they maybe go into a physical journey and training, and their body starts to change, and you can tell that this is like happening internally too, because they get lighter, right?
Yeah.
And then things start to hit that alignment that you're speaking of, and you see these massive transformations from people that just decided like they want to go after something. So that actually leads me into what I was going to ask you is, I think in like a lot of these like top level people, a lot of people that you talk to, you see this like peace, but then also ambition, right?
Yeah.
And it's a crazy balance to strike from what I've seen. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I've gone through that myself, where I went through a phase of working from the outside in, and it was very like wanted to be on a podium as an athlete, as a coach, wanting my athletes to be on podiums and have validation and recognition from others.
Yeah.
And I really maxed out how much personal development work I could do from the outside in. I redlined myself and hurt myself and all these things.
Yeah.
And so then I started doing the inside job, started working on my mind, and then I started, I can actually, I thought that personal development was only working with your mind, and then I realized, I can work with my heart too, my body. There's way more to this story.
Yeah.
And so during that process, when I was first discovering my heart and what I cared about, it took me a few years I was not very ambitious for a few years.
Right, you just wanted to be that hippie.
Yeah, you've probably seen people go through this phase before. You've probably gone through it yourself, where it's more like none of it matters. And I think it's a very necessary stage. It's a predictable and necessary stage. And I actually don't try to get anyone to move through it more quickly. The best way to move through that stage and get back into, I know my purpose in this world, and I see that, look, anyone who's happy with the way the world is now is naive, right? They're not paying attention.
Right.
Like the world, like let's make it better, right? And so that person has likely been through that journey where there's a lot of focus on self. There was finding peace
and they
within.
just have to bask in that.
And you just got to bask in that, and you got to go all the way. I encourage people to go all the way into it. Because the deeper you can go into it, the faster you get through the other side. Right. But not for the purpose of going through the other side.
Right.
It's like, no, let's go deep in yourself, and people may think you're crazy.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Right.
But in my experience, the deeper I go and the crazier people thought I was, and I've seen this with my friends too, and then we emerge out the other side, and it's like, oh shit, this person's powerful.
Absolutely.
Because I go, I've done that work, and I go, well, what else is left?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm here chilling. My life, no matter what happens in the outside world, I'm great. So now my job is help other people.
Yes. Nah, I resonate with that a lot. I took like 3 or 4 years where I left like the busyness and like the gym, the personal training in the gym, and just went and just self-care and just like trained and just took care of myself, and didn't have a lot of ambition. And then I stepped into a new chapter of my life where I felt very comfortable and like I could go after some of that stuff. Yeah.
How long has it been since you've been feeling that fire?
Not too long, honestly. Probably about a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And it feels really good, and I still feel the tug and the pull. you know? Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm gonna dip back into just chilling a bit, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm really, like I feel very passionate about this and I want to go do this thing, you know? And I imagine there's always gonna be a bit of a give take there.
Yeah, are you familiar with the 4 major masculine archetypes?
Like the king.
Yeah,
the
king,
magician.
lover, magician, warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're like me, lover didn't get any attention
Oh yeah.
for most of my life, right? You know, like it's not very popular to have a lot of lover energy as a young man.
Right.
So I think that a big part of that, checking in on self and doing a lot, playing a lot and disappearing for a week or two, that's the lover energy. And it's good to go into that, and it's good to have that online, because in order to be a king, you have to have lover as part of that. That means that the warrior, the lover, and the magician archetypes have been developed enough for the king to develop. And so
I've followed you for a long time. I've been through the Strong Coach, and I've learned a lot about building Strength Side and about the stuff that we're talking here today. So where can people find more about you?
All right. Yeah, if you want to build a coaching business, if you want to be like Josh, you can go to thestrongcoach.com/strengthside, and we have our build program, which is really the nuts and bolts on how to build an online coaching business. So you'll save 15% when you use that link. That's thestrongcoach.com/strengthside. And if you want to dive into more topics like we did just now, more of that deep personal development, emotional resilience, and all that kind of stuff, you can check out my podcast, The Bledsoe Show.
If you want to dive into part 2, comment below. Let us know. Like the video, subscribe to Strength Side, and as always,